very much, and yatra say and a day on the Gumbe show. As usual, and makunkun sepeteno. Na enuoma bebre and ebisi and a day. Wa my Ghana kukudia my ma. Wa bransmedu katayura chayade. Nene mene wo trase. Ye din komo. E wo de Gumbe show so. Ene in some ebe shiagu okrum ha. Nene be puso me ho. Ama mo ho se maba. Bi twa me ho aba. Ya ba betrase ne ye din komo. Ene me nsemre. Tweme be ba isia.
Spanish garlic mixture. Now what na what here drawing ka ba be di ho adanse ana. Edro de sa giga na ha baby a wo. Me die kra ma no me wi a me kope foforo atoni.
Me won the capsules wa. Me head driver ni de me tina se de mu nyina ye adwuma. Me du fia me tin ka se me mu. Me sa ene me na nyina gideti.
Last one na makoje no. Anya draw we na omo fra ne Spanish mixture no.
Oh ma, Spanish garlic mixture.
Anwa na me no.
Ai, edro ma chenka. So me me de
Cedric, mami ami di ho adanse entre no. Samo drop akobi nso na e wa adaka mu green no. Eno
who can we na
Spanish Ginkgo capsules is good for retentive memory and anti-aging. Hey, me mami, na o ka bibia che na onkai. Ni we free nyama tentem. Ni skin ne body nyira nso asai. Me to obi ma no no. Ene otumi ka nyama kra na me kra abomi pusa.
And check herbal center for and then pharmacy can make an herbal shop. A painful about your money for no kwada we fit do the income. FDA achi ingredient kratwe.
Welcome to Auto Check Vehicle Diagnostic and Licensing Center.
I hear my car can be checked here without going to Accra.
Sure.
Emission, check.
Alignment, check.
Brakes, check.
Visit Auto Checks at Koforodia Aquadum Road for the roadworthiness of your vehicle, from saloon cars to heavy-duty industrial vehicles. Madam, your car is now ready for the road.
Thank you so much. Auto checks. Check.
Auto Checks. Your safety, our priority.
Check auto checks.
Ebrana dua wase ye din komo ne. Na yesra twadi aponyame se. Wode enenso ede ache yese dapo. No kwasem Ghanafo. Enuoma bebre akoso ewo Ghana ha. Na maten sama hodo bebre. Owura John Dramani Mahama nano memne da. Any DC amanyo kuo no ade wo manifesto ade kotu dwa. Okwatira Ghanafo enuoma omo betumi aye. Omo de kotu Ghanafo nim ensesaya. Wode aguna kwam. Na wode baba Boamah Ghana ade ne ntoma pafra. Owura John Dramani Mahama estatin categorically. The obaya buo machine akuafo apokofo won wa kra nuoma Boamah Ghana mu ene de yeka ho opani adi ni nyina adi tudwa thinking say oman nim pintuo ni nim pajaye nti animonyam ebeba you know empanimfo say adwembone ba kurati mu a otongum bawamia adwembone a ewo ni tim entino wasadaya ne say so Owura John Dramani Mahama edim ne manifesto adi betudwa memne da ade atejwa da obi abeka manifesto ne ho asem obia be heni John Dramani Mahama obia be bana baso eti sene sadia awase yasu ya pabibi ya yede baba sadia ba ya amanfo adwen ba ya wonse yasu ya de bibia ba eti akwan ba ne be fa so ene ya ne yemfa so se so we are John Dramani Mahama the manifesto ba the kwasiada yesu yensia santwerefo na yesia santwerefo a ade bete no na John Dramani Mahama de okoye no atonsuum because and santwerefo mo beba no ye ba mo de yatete 20,000 Ghana cedis each kani sikano 200 million ani ya de be ma omo de ba de sanu a ya de ani hu dawro ne ye bebo ba wom ye ho asem ne ye beka enu nti ya nya na sa afei ya wo wanwa ya ba twa semisa ma wo mo no ma bisa the vice president of the republic no ma bisa no eno mo starte no kwasem ba wom ye de dwumadie ne sesa so ampa aya ne se e wo sesa dwumadie no wadie eti wodi ye na wo twedi amponyame a wo ye nyame kan na wo hwe di panim no bua asamtene ne adi atentene ne madie deserve no aya ne say John Dramani Mahama deserves justice na mi o twedi amponyame me de bema no ba wo mi ani magu ase ewi asempani fose sankofa yanti sankofa nyamuslo sankofa ya de papa wotrofo kontomponi na te yi wo bia wodi atum se ampa wo ya the biggest liar in Ghana wo bia wodi atum se ampa ya kaso yen kontomponi a wo pe Naomia wo bia wo accept say ampa wo ye liar onie owura John Dramani Mahama osisi adansi hospitals wo ya de ye Mahama okukudrufo Mahama asumdue hene Mahama opebasaba sankantokwa sigana ono so legina hayi na sani pami enu yakwa kwato aba wo beto ama de wonka no kure no ana beto ama hwan mini anum Ghana fo mama yenwuram as part of the questions ya ebaye no ensemi sabi bama bawomia yo mu bisa na se wo ba o se elevi oba obetwam bawomia wa kam yati ase se wo ba betting tax obetwam wo ba pot oben flat rate ade na we implement no ene ya wo power you are the flag bearer of the party. You are the flag bearer of the party. Bawomia, aside everything, you are the flag bearer of the NPP. You are also the vice president of the republic. Adie bia bema mawini biano, woman penny bema ho kwam wa ya mama wini. Eti win no amope no. Aden. And now one first some measures when put in place. No be who say was started. Na san saba o miya yo trofo yen kontompo ni nka no kurenti. Boamah ansa wo de baaye ene say Samiye ni nyina na me baaye de na meye Ganafo mama yen konkohwe Boamah ewo ni nyia no ene response yen konkoti
You know what and then I think Ebukwanse was talking about people calling me a lie. We wanted to do these tax reforms, import duty, flat tax, tax amnesty, and so on. Why don't I do it now? And why do I want to? I must have a manifesto. Otherwise, if I do everything now, if I could, what would I do when I come into office? I mean, how can you do everything now? Even President Mahama, former president, who was president, I'm only vice president, but he was president. Why didn't he do everything then? He had full authority. I don't have full authority. The budget that has gone to Parliament, which has been passed, is not my budget. Is it my budget? It's not my budget. The budget goes in the name of the president. It doesn't go in the name of the vice president. But when you have to think about what new do you want to do, you come up with new ideas. And I've come up with new ideas which I want to do when we come into office. Everyone who is running for office, whether you are Kamala Harris or you are Boamah, you still have to think about what you have to do when you get into office. And this is why I'm presenting my new...
Very good, Ghana for. Sure. Boamah is a concert man, a joker, a comedian, and a traitor. Mamika se mintiram. Boamah say, "So what you be area? Obedi and obey. Mama mintiram adibi. Dr. Mahmoud Boamah lecture so ye no ho no. Okasem bi say, in 2022 wada no wona. No nim say economy ni be collapse. When him say your best line wo pumps and the fuel on. And into a idea be no start because a time baby abekogwa was a few on you obekwa highest few on you and until no da no wona. And until adua ba the team na say yani dollars a yade be kwakoto oil eto onu mu kosiaye and obi so say look mom pa gold and I say I'm catch and say pe gold one of the man penny amane so man penny yenye gold for oil and I'm starting good for oil Ghana for me kanim na pain as should ya say Boamah is the one ya wo bu o man no Boamah say as someone catch you man penny akufo ado no o kan ya pe no some starting good for oil it would me implementing woman in opposition but the bebo Ghana for the unto me mini am Ghana for be catch Ghana ni bia na ya wotie yan ya wo me and that day say Boamah ye traitor Boamah ye liar one qualified to be a president. Don't vote for him. Mamun tuaba mano. Na one cannot correct. We yini pama. Boamah noa. What's the one I will catch on man penny kufu to say? Young for God unkwasa oil. Na yeti ase no. And that you say we need policy. Ya would de beba na uba e de na be. Eti Boamah ye ni paboni near to the stand say. Adwini ya would de bua Ghana magana tumpono. Would ya see? And I would tell him say, ya bema utumi ya mwabedi president and son I would yaba. Boamah I put it to you, sir. Wouldn't him dear be so one him dear with the baba. And Kabawomia, what the baba without thinking about it. Bawomia me can ne. So one him dear be out the baba. And count your badada. Ya can you know boy. Look. E-levy. Mame tell my dear be what E-levy home. Kwado pon kroma babonte be kan say. Ya draft E-levy law. Na Bawomia ka ho. Bawomia ena di makotane. Ema ya mra. Ema tutuboto momo tax. So send this car abante wo no. Bawomia na ye mra to. Eti ade no wa ye mra to ho no. Se Bawomia insist ye. Aka President Kufuor say. Say ye jimomo taxa Mwagana and President Kufuor will listen to Bawomia because I've already told you say Adwene Kufuor wodweno. When it comes to economics, is being known as Bawomianomics. Nanado nadwene no ye friend of Bawomianomics. Eh? Bawomia kwa ya de tosumi you know. Bawomia kwa ya de tosumi you Ghana for. Wamu kofi sa Bawomia say. Owura Bawomia. Amanfo se we your trofo wo your trofo. Amanfo se we your liar unka no kore. It is some way we some sing. Ana Bawomia say. Ayame dem pasa ye say me your trofo. Na me nkum ni pasa me boss. Na me nya government official one. Na ya say me de me your trofo. After all, and at least yan kase me komunipa. Ate say me boss Akufuado. Yan kase me komunipa. Ese me boss Akufuado. And I say yan kase me government official one. Therefore, I put it to Bawomia to come out and testify to Ghanaians say, and the question the boss will come obiana. And ya day now dear no susudia. Because there is no rumors without element of truth. Yes, so we a liar and no correct. Special prosecutor and then a report to buy, you know. We're establishing a so John Dramani Mahama, government official one. Ya report to nobody this. No chess saying to Kufuor so. And the crest will come biana. Because special prosecutor report. HSO John Dramani Mahama, government official one. Ghana for na agya to say we are the biggest liar in Ghana. Enti wasama wo kan ye no et no kire se Akufuor so wa kum ni pa na. Bawomia be kire Ghana fo. Eye no kura se de o kan ye no na wo testify say omampani Akufuor wa kum ni pa na wo kum hwan ye friend sign be body di kire Ghana fo. Ya pese ehu du akum no. Because the special prosecutor report HSO John Dramani Mahama government official one. Na se Ghana fo nyina agitum se wo your trofo a ya waje atum no. Na won sama wo kan ye ne kire se Akufuor nso wakum nipa. Nyame na me draw conclusion e wasem a. And ye catch a Bawomia say. A same way ya wakan ni. Ana kwasi ada ukaye no. Obechirim. Mama yen konko he. Bawomia sem no a. We ni ano no a. Ode baye no. Mama yen konko he Bawomia mra.
You know what I And then I think Ebukwanse was talking about people calling me a liar, and then you go, and that is very. I said to someone, well, at least I'm not called a murderer as my boss was called, or I'm not called a drug dealer, or even I'm not called government official one. But why do these things arise? Fundamentally, I believe that Ghana can do.
Very good. Ghana for. Wotie ba wo mi asem na wo kano a. Enti wei pentima minto wei no mampani akufuado. Ebe ka che ye se wonyankopon die wiase nim die nyina de ahye ne mu. Mama yankwankwa ha akufuado. Ya wo boba wo mi abaso. Mama yankwankwa hwe akufuado. I told you the last time I say omampani akufuado ankasa kra no. One achievement. Adia no so waye no. Na nanadu nimo. Because nanadu ye ceremonial president. President ane wobu oman we no. The din ade Bawumia. Bawumia ene kachre. Owura nanadu danko akufuado se. Achievement ini. And was said that ye paper. And what they share in some. Mama yankonko he video no.
If you have been anymore, me my bass me babe dada Ghana for. Me my because me pese me yesi me to me yet. Na me and that baby, we are true for. Some of your family on Mokai, some of Kaila. Bawumia new, Bawumia no. Yakupondi, we are say Adwina Ashenu. I said that I your paper. To show that 41 promises made by the MPP and its presidential candidates within 2 years, 41 have already been fulfilled and delivered as we speak now. 41, paper the new. Was the Abbasi Ababi says Ghana? Ghana, baby, and the one who name him said, Yabasi Ababi says Ghana.
Very good. Papa penimu gyina simpie so. No wadi ho adanse. Wunya konye ko gyina simpie so a. Ni wadi akufuado atema gu nanim as. Purposely because of say obi free South Africa beka say nana gitumu na Bawumia nka se wa feeling. But Ghana for my so disappointed. I will Bawumia mu. Because Dr. Mamudu Bawumia to me about Bontia Bakacha Ghana for say. Budget no awaye no, enye ne dia. Na budget no enye ni din ne daso. Bawumia kacha Ghana for nyina say, budget no nya ne budget. Maferio. And then my ferry. Ghana for minim. Constitution no make provision for president. Now we make provision. I'm a vice president. And until now who say Bawumia poster at that adie na ne ponso de dan chen. Who say Professor Jane no pokwa jeman. A picture that adie mu a no so eye owura John Dramani Mahama so de dan chen. Adie ba ko a amamani awuo ne no se. Afa ne mahu de ntia Bawumia reduce the vice presidential position to just a mere driver's mate. Because I don't say me woman say Bawumia hu ne ho as a boss ene nakwala wonam. That is the reason when tia Bawumia a claim achievement of Akufuado. Eba positive dia so no no ye. but the bad negative dia was so nim hwehwe ama enne bawomie tumie bie nano ababonten abeka kire Ghana for say budget aya no enyem din na daso akufu adudin na daso enti se bibi wo hona ye failure enyem bawomie na ma failure na akufu adu na failure meti asem no mede men sagu meti na mi sunsa kwada besuo ma bawomia saa na bawomia ni pakura wo ye wo no bompa ye ka che twedi amponyame se wanyu mfiri ne nsem Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and then may respected the office as the vice president awo and can name no be ne pasa so we reduce say budget ni nyame din na wom owura John Dramani Mahama say men kan tire ba wo me say budget ya the back cabinet ama obia bobo hubi dio susu sa wenye obia tire na dwen awo cabinet awo budget no ho ansa na cabinet ni wia omo the budget na ko parliament ni yakokenkan di akire Ghana fo etia ya dai and as the head of the economic management team o kasa budget ni yewode Bawumia and you resign as the vice president. I dare you, if you think or if you are saying that you are a man of integrity, resign. Bawumia, I called on Akufo-Addo to sack you yesterday. But Akufo-Addo say obema watena ho no agu anim ase. Eto ampamo. Bawumia, who integrity resign. Bawumia, I dare you. So integrity resigning. Resign as the vice president because who first will be a what's a so. A one vice president, yeah, what can say budget in Yanadia? Bawumia, with integrity. With integrity. So we are the power integrity and can be resigning from today onwards. We are nimguasenipa. What? Wama meno papa. Eni wa mangana bo huka. Amwa hayekwa. When you do a man sika de we. Bawumia. When you do a man sika. And you show university see. I'm not your master's can. Mama, we got big time. What to me in your kukudra be catch Ghana for say? Budget and your budget. Now you're done be papa budget anymore. What's say a yawodia when I we ye? But some be bonu or budget anymore. What's say budget and yawodia? Bawumia, if you are really a man of integrity, resign. That pafuo wa bonwa sansa no we ya de nipa Akufo-Addo achievement so na wo override my Ghana card my way e budget ni mo no be catch Ghana for say budget ni nyawo de ya but to ho e kekensem hunu e kire Ghana for say what the Ghana card daba Akufo-Addo akasa ni statement you are the buy. This is the Japadia document. Akufo-Addo ankasa the State of the Nation address. Ya wode baye. O stating wo mu clearly. E kire Ghana fo ene ya wiase fa na nyina say Ghana card no wo baye be bedru ye no na owura John Dramani Mahama aye 900,000 e di card ya to wode da. But ene ukogina ba bi kokasa Ghana card mobile na mo start ye. Bawumia wan hwe ya se mesia dome wo no ye mbehyew. And now you're trofosa. And now can cressa. What is wrong with you? What can tram and MC Sinano as you and Troka? Ablekumanov. I've already told you. Say Ablekumanov. This is the candidate Yamuntu Abamano. Your friend Ewurabena Oben. Parliamentary candidate for Ablekumanov. Ghana for NDC for NPP for and the Ghana for Mudon Puntio. Montua Bama Ewurabena Oben. Na me baba trema die bi ma mo yema semo. From day one, Eddie Baby in the 1992-93 election. And an NDC candidate to Dikan. And we need a free Sabrano de Baby in the 96 Eddie Baby in NPP net take over Ablekumanov. NDC to me leader. You be so much say, Mama one achievement. Ewa Ablekumanov. MC ya woho. Ebebo. NPP achievement for all these years. Ewa Ablekumanov. Mama yang konkoshe MC. Na one trend achievement. Ewa Ablekumanov. Yang.
Briabaha. Na filling station wa. Na ni ha. Filling station wa. Na ni Ablekumanov. Omo wa ha nyina be hu se. Ye ba yi. Na filling station no abaha. Because krono edani kru papa. It investors baha. Uko kwashima. KFC. Ya ho akra. Enye baby na KFC wo. So ati ase. Ya isi krona ma emu ayakono ama enkrofo baha. KFC wa. So ati ase. Filling station ya isi na eti wachi hai. Ne ni ha o. Because the filling station ba ha obeboka. Ekwan ye. Ba ye ekwan no. Se se enya filling station. Ni na development no ebi. Eti me ka je me nuane se. Ya ye enema bebre. Wo de on fa ne se. They say no yare a.
Akwa no yare wo. Because we te say the yare ni twa to. MC no yare ana. The bomb achievement from 1996 to 2006 to 2016. 20 years. Aka 2 years. Na mudi hasono. Na motwa 30 solid years. 30 years. Ewa Ablekumanov. Na mumra. Amra metrem achievement. Asama mo kacha Ghana for no say. Mo achievement. Ame sa ukwa kwasemanya. KFC abaho. Ewurade na hwani a. Enti NPP for emu Ghana for say. Yenti MC no. Na dwene nyina ne say. Se wo ba Ablekumanov a. Omo di omaya ne wo ho ne de KFC. KFC. Jesus Christ. Say omo di KFC abaho. Na nkra ha nya babia na KFC ko. Etu omo ba ho no KFC aba. Enti Ablekumanov for 28 solid years. Ya NPP take over eho. Achievement. Aye KFC and a filling station. MC we ye kurase ni pa wate. We you giant pa. Me na me catch we you giant. Become achievement KFC. Na min tia uka. Abuafunu. Beka achievement. Ewa Ablekumanov. Na MC yenye kukudro. Kan kwasi asam say. Wama achievement. Any KFC. And a filling station. May God punish you. Any woman na new descendants. Adena mu ya die mu ya yase. Ghana for vote for Ewurabena Oben to take over Ablekumanov. Mama yentu abanin fama Ewurabena Oben. Ewurabena Oben, parliamentary candidate for NDC. Ablekumanov. Montu abanin mano. Na wa metre yempuntu nyuma. 28 years. Ekwa 30 years. Achievement ye KFC. and a filling station. A driver for a monamably command off. Kwashiman and an impotemu. Odoko Sakamine. Part of Malam. Utatem. Besramo. Mo MC no anadwene yeno. As a filling station. Was a filling station. Any KFC. And no media babli kumanof. Iti anona cheso mama mpuntu nyuma ba. Besramo ada. Montua banima ewurabena open. For the first time, mama yen try ne he. Mama yen try mami he. Na yen hwe say, wanu so be KFC na beba and a filling station. Mon sense be MC so be. Mon sense be MC so. Na yen tie MC ni sam huna waka kire Ghana fo no. Mon se me so be.
Briabaha. Na filling station wa na ni ha. Filling station when any ablequan of omo hanging abu say, ye buy and a filling station no abaha because Krono and Danny Crew Papa, it investors, baha. Uko Kwashima, KFC, the whole crack, and your baby on a KFC walk. Try as here. Ya, I see a Krona, my Akono, I'm a and Crawford, baha. KFC wa. Try as here. Filling station, I see and see what you hate. Nay, anyhow, because the filling station by our boca, a quine ye, by a year quano. Se see enya filling station need na development no ebi eti
na wo hwe said ya brante ne bu afunu a ya ma woni MC kwan within 2 minutes ankobebo na kuno kan sem hunu we kire Ghana fo se ya da twedi amponyame ase ma me mfa mo nkonko wie on the final one Ghana fo no kwasem ne se akuyafo a mutie me enne ani kokwa akuyafo a muwo Ghana mo asem aye mobo nanso emamu mamu wire ho na munu ya John Mahama no ano ne mokwa afuom ekobo kokoo no munu ya John Mahama no ano de ne nsa to apaso ene munu kokoo mu no munu ya John Mahama no ano chemo hybrid nursery free no ya wode hybrid kokoo baye no mo nursery na wode chew for free se kodua abrosoa afi mfie mienu ewura ne mfie miensa na so owura John Dramani Mahama no ano che fertilizer free owura John Dramani Mahama no ano de asuku aduro ba free Fuladen free enro ye de gu kokoo so no de ba free no owura John Dramani Mahama no oba biem eti kokoo akuafo mamu yire nho ana me ne mo kasei Ghana Cocoa Board aqua international market aqua syndicated loan of $1.5 billion omo koya ne ya pam won oma pam wo mo ama oma ba fie ya ma wo mo sika no Ghana Cocoa Board agu entiasi biem Cocoa Board aye saman wani anu munyam biem ewo wiase amanso ne Ghana omako program akwa bi sabawumia sebawumia Ghana Cocoa Board agu na hu ne sen bawumia se wanu di onim ba bia data ni fre no onim krase Cocoa Board agu Ghana fo mama yen konkohwe mamudu bawumia on Ghana Cocoa Board na mumisa Ghana kuyafo se anyenyem bia ye wo future na ye wo date and bawumia na mama yen konkohwe bawumia
Cocoa Board is on the verge of collapse. I'm not aware of that, but we'll look at that. I cannot comment on that. It's not. I don't know where the data is coming from. Cocoa Board is on the verge of collapse. I'm not aware of that, but we'll look at that. I cannot.
Sure. Amanfoɔ sɛ menkyerɛ KFC mu no munim ade kɔde. Mepamakyɛw KFC no. Ɛyɛ baabi a yɛtɔn akokɔ nam a yɛakye. Ɛne santon. Potato. Abrodoma. An abrodoma. Baabi a yɛtɔn santon. Ya your friend sweet potato. Yɛkye. Yɛtwitwa ne nteantea ne yɛakye Chinafoɔ de yɛn bi. Your friend santon. An abrodoma. Ene akokɔ nam a yɛakye. Ɛtɔmre bi ane yɛayɛ fried rice aka ho. Ana jollof. Enti indirectly no a restaurant. Me pamocho eno ena ye papa achievement no indirectly no a restaurant eno say ababli kumalof eti amanfo koto akokɔ nam any potato edi but me aso when say Ghana cocoa board collapse. Now let me tell you something. Ya me catch Ghana ni bia mo ate ase ene day ne se. Ewiase obrempon bi ne nyame. Do be kasa ye ho. Ma me fast dem oduro fama Medimosis Clinic and Prostate Center. Medimosis se me fantom anim so the Ceylon cinnamon e de aba onum bia eboa wo. No so me fantom anim se obi a owo high blood anase obi a ne moja eni afrusa ne ye or blood bad cholesterol detoxify ni padua no mu siesie ni padua no e boost to immune system afei obi a prostate disorders, sexual weakness, male and female infertility, hypertension, diabetes, sciatica, typhoid, malaria, stroke ene yade enkaye ka ho no Medimosis Clinic and Herbal Center ena etonensa e dia frew wo sebra Adenta barrier, when the police station they didn't share mu. Across Central 8 years of 4 denimo. A Jacojo Obe School for the Deaf, Kumase Ahinema Kokobing. Obe to me a friend was 0244 068 447 0244 068 447. Spanish garlic mixture and capsules. Eton and sa afremo. Was so nasi tata wedu no. Would you show me bad cholesterol? Any yadian kaye kekahono. Wadaroma. Her Spanish garlic mixture and the capsules nibi. No. Your Spanish ginkgo capsules. Your strategy free ginkgo below bani soya oil. Wadaruma ebwa moja media frisani ye fa adwene no. Ebo adwene ne akoma no ho ban. Esiesie akoma no. Ekuta anti-aging to no ma wunyini. Waduru eno no. Baby eton robi obenya bi frɛ 0266 1141 11 0266 1141 11 Ghana Help Therapeutics. What the Ghana Bam Ediaba. Rheumatism as sasabro. Wapo so kotodwe achiribre mo kase. Unya bia ebwa wedrun. Your Ghana man capsules is yesi ni peduano. Bigger, stronger and longer. Afei watinka ukoko ni nasefo no. Unya Ghana man capsules ebwa. Prostate a very dangerous disease. It is non-prostajoy. Na fabo hoban. When your prostate yadia, non-prostajoy. Na fe yadi in friho. Ubetumi afre 0244 754380 0244 754380. Edu aba clinic at the SMB test at the aba. B test for the men and no and B test for women. Per SMB test nibi. There is no B test yet as SMB test. The only B tests are in sa encounter. Now so a powerful ne bojuma. Your friend SMB test. Be pacho. SMB test a member drew. Nom bema na gye 3 pence ɔbaa nom na nso gye 3 pence ɛwɔ dɛm hɔ baabia wobɛfa bia no wobɛtumi anya bi frɛ 0553 0558 379545 0558 379545 Safari Valley, the best place. Yeah, what's oko? Ekokwajiweni Hotel Papabi. Your friend Safari Valley. Where Febroso. Minia, where your wedding engagement, birthday party, opeso honeymoon. Call Safari Valley. Eco Resort. Emwa hodwo okwa abekɔ fishing anopa wo akwa you fish I am fanya duane man aboa bi abe point bia na yakuna man area hɔ efe ɛhɔ de itibowura hɔ na kwaji wani Safari Valley ɛwɔ Okre district Adukrom side hɔ frɛ 0596 914394 0596 914394 X natural mineral water. Also simply natural. Insua ye did the birthday party engagement wedding. Ye di bibia. And no. Pebina yusu na energy emra. 0596 273546 0596 273546 Solak Natural Clinic. See em fan to Ghana for you say. Where your bema bia infertility, chronic white, gonorrhea, low sperm count, how sciatica, waist pain, joint pain, ukotodwe wetiribremo, hawa, Solak Natural Clinic. Name u kidney, any will liver no so fako, no mun CSC and famau. Kidney ni liver, Solak Natural Clinic, honey baby, I was so doing it. Now was saw yadie, was sabi amadens de aba, uguso eye wajuma. It would the say, ubetu to an unknown. O kokomlimli, what may have a senior high school no. Fre 0553 93 2631 0553 93 2631 Ye twayo aba ako Solak Natural Clinic akwaje apomeden enkrato aba ye ba owura John Dramani Mahama Manifesto lunch no de si ho ni nyina no ye ba me de ni nyina bebrewo tweme me ba isia ti nkomo no me no di ni yie pa na se ne nsoma wate empeninfo se bambo atrema eye chen ayaresa bukiti na woni pa bia wote asase so a wo se uteki wa pomden so serious abi before enya yenya because said ye se wo ye no omode eye asa ene enuomanuma bi ena hye yen enti ama ya pomden no yen take it serious see yen hospital because yen nyini na no ne yesuro mpane ye wo ene said ye enuomate. In fact, let me tell you something. Yewo yadie bia etaha nipa seriously. Na yadie etaha nipa baako eye kidney, baako eye liver. Na sedi nyame bo nipa no kidney ntese ani, ntese hwene, ntese ano. Ntese wonsa anawuti. Ye yehu. Na odi saa nuoma no adi hinta nipadua no mu. Enti se bibi totema awu kidney ene wu liver ho a sensunsansuo ni mpieye awu nipadua no ni a. Na before sensunsansuo no so beba no na ade na say beyond repairs a wo ye ho hwe ya enyi. Na saa nuoma no Minti, ana ama Dr. Penia, wada Solak Natural Clinic no. Wadu doma sukwa. Akwa kufa nuoma papa, edi abase. Ewa se obia kidney, ene ne liver, oheni ye. Na se u kidney, ene u liver, obeye na shiyia. Ewa se oba Solak Natural Clinic. Na babeje apomdintie. Kidney edro yenton was stop. Because woba just say ye drufa test ahoduom ni ye check hunu say papa kidney ya wakan ampa asay ana eye kama ni liver asay ana eye kama no mo check say no ma ni nyina wi ansana mama hu aduro ama hu ato look mama ni uni enkomo simple one way na shene nsoma me mesrew obi no bisa say edian ana eye kidney wo kidney no ana esone enhio ene liquid product ewura ni padua no esone so it one drink one nsuo one wei no esone so a na ayi ne panama moja no na de anya no e de afadwo nsom na apie na tomra bi a obehu say woni pani bi wo ha the kidney na damage to the stem say ade a wase eye ne Johnson eba no enye obehu say etani padua no mu etu obehu say ne furadoa ontumi nyonso ontumi nya ne hohwe eti eba ne sana kokopie mu abi akolebu a yasedia de oto dialysis no adwuma eye ne say ye do koto afidi a eno na eba betwe Johnson no ensuo no a wonom ye tani padua no mu no eno na eba betwe sanu mafin no a ewo ni padua no mu na ni padua no ho ato minia sa wo sa tebia no mu a Brasolak Natural Clinic na be dia pum de ebia wo de no adru critical point to say what the dialysis so and the dialysis wo da so a ba ko ye 499 em se bi crack ho a week wo betumi akọ 2 times and 3 times a week na sika do say na wo Brasolak Natural Clinic na wo de wo ma waduro na check ni padua no wo de farse asay awi na be check we obi wo ha wo be say wo ye adwuma kakra bi no wabre enye yade nyina ananya kidney ni nyina na liver ni nyina na be kase wabre tie ni but bi wo ha wo ye adwuma kakra no wabre wo nante ehatu ha frequently say etwaso a check your kidney and the liver dia toso obi wo ha enye se bi eno na asai ne na do da na jo ntumi na wotene ho kotwe atwiram no wato ne ho atwere atwiram no wato ne ho akotwere ha no wato ne ho atwere ha ntumi na se wo sa tebia no na se problem ne bia go to Solak Natural Clinic minia Solak Natural Clinic enro nyina ye natural yamframu ebibiduro die mu ene yaje de na ye nananom ne ya na ye nti kidney ne liver yade no enu bi wo say amanfo sha da sha se say ye nhye dan keka nsem bi ya ye de begu ya haba nuru anim ase etu omo sha se say oh ye nka se o kidney ese ya e kire se wanu mabibiduro but there is no scientific proof ye kire se obinu mabibiduro ene say ni kidney rather e ya brofuduro ene say kidney wati afei obi wa obi nse ne honami kano na hakekano na hanekekano na ne ho kekano pepe na woti na wodwi na woti na wodwi takewe wotiti ne ho ma ne ho yete se maami ya woda ho yi wahu obi wa ha osori anopa obi nse ne nimu hohono edi asemo se minimu obi nse ne nase atatai ne nana ise jepim no wode wonse mia na atom minua se wonan etesei ana wo this problem wa ko Solak Natural obi wa ha ne muscles no emoja na boba papo didem check it when you pay her on to me home on to me yebi briefing out on to me na home na ye senior minia o sat bia ne bia check wo kidney ne wo liver na no matu on to me ne di enye se wate ba omiya ho asem bi na nanu mato ende yem de ya exam edro no mato wate enye se bi ya wate abofo sem bi na mum da bia nanu mato ebia na nye ne de enye se wodi agya obi bi da bia nanu ma ye basa wada roma check wo kidney ene wo liver hwe obi ha wo humi guruswa sente be pie free mabano utumi bisa se na we free ni padua mu na pie kan kranfo se kan mole wada roma sakwe obi ho ha wo jonsa obi ho se Johnson no ase huro bebre tani mu chakaso yesi nuoma wo ne yam en wo Johnson ase jama yesi nuoma wo ne yam ahuro ta ne yam etani pop check it obi so ha wa Johnson wie no eni aye brown bi red bi kokko bi ase wo Johnson moja bi nuoma bi basa bi nwura bi eni nuoma wada roma check it eno so ena obi wo ha kakra no waye boho waye disu fili dis kakra no wabre minu ya se wo sat bia no bi ana wo sa problem no bi a check kidney ba bia ye check e ye Solak Natural Clinic was a quality first ko check it dowra ho na kwaji wapomde emfa nuoma ni agro memfa nuoma ni agro na me do me pese o transiche da bia no asema me ka chema no se Dr. Solomon wono na ye doctor na wakasa wachechire duro no mu amumati no yade no Dr. Kasa fast dodo na me se doctor obuase eba Gumbe ane battleground ya the programs dia me amechechire mu se de be ya Ghana fo bete hwase because kidney ne liver no e kumni padodo minia number ni 0553 93 2631 0553 93 2631 mama kidney ni liver nku number no ene egu screen ase ho frɛ na woni doctor panini nkomo na kasa de ofili enye kidney ni liver nko an wasa da bi obi awo ehun aye ne den obi a white atena na so gono atena na so low sperm count atena na so obi a sciatica ni sisi na panum na poso ni kotodwe na tiribramo kase obi a ni BP ewo soro opese bafom onuro pa na emema no mu nyina so masa emema no a mu nyina so no ono na duro na ne ye de gi 3 points na enya nkwale nduro ntina ehiafo no ya se ye atwe masa Dr. Solomon Dura ode mama ye mema no anopa wo di tweti utumi de pan okra bot I am telling you it we bema na wonya bema ko obi a woni so yi wusi diabetes hepatitis menstrual pains menstrual disorders obi a cholesterol dose won nipaduam obi a prostate cancer obi a wawodie yesi wa ya abortion pain ntuntumi ngo ni nyina no fabra Dr. Solomon ho e wo Solak Natural Clinic na won sawo yade be ni tie emra o kokomlemle obe Harvard Senior High School no the number ni biem ma me monchew because enyo omo a omo hu ade nko a e na ATM number ni 0553 93 2631 0553 93 2631 Francesia na woni ni nkomo na doctor deɛ ɔwɔ adagye ɛbɛ pick your call ɛne wabɔ nkɔbɔ Sumac Natural Clinic wɔsi quality first.
Upon your
And may the heavens rescue this land. We need a man with vision to lead. John Mahama is the man for us, oh God.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the nation builder.
John Mahama, waya, 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 waya. Come on, hey, come on, hey. John Mahama, waya, 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 waya.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Eyezu. Eyeza. Eyezu. Eza. Choboi. Choboi. Hey. 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 Thank you very much. Thank you. My dear comrades, members, supporters, sympathizers, and followers of the National Democratic Congress, the good people of Ghana watching and listening from across the country and the world and those who have joined us here in Oheneba, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, my running mate for the 2024 election, the Right Honorable Speaker, Alban Bagbin, a bona fide member of our party, my beloved wife, Lordina, my dear children who are here with me, Sharaf, Shahid, Farida, thank you, I acknowledge you. Our National Chairman, Johnson Asiedun Ketia, our General Secretary, Fifi Fiavi Kwete, our traditional rulers who have been so kind to join us here today, our members of the Council of Elders who, despite age, have managed with their walking sticks to join us this morning, party supporters, ladies and gentlemen. Today we gather with hope as one people, united in victory, and as one nation, Ghana, with a common interwoven invisible destiny. Today we also gather to reignite and reaffirm the dreams of our forebears, led by Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the founder of our great nation, a nation with one destiny, a destiny that cannot afford to endure one additional day beyond January 7, 2025, of the maladministration, the mismanagement, and state capture this nation has been subjected to over the last almost 8 years. For the sake of God's children and in the name of God, the people of Ghana will wake up from this nightmare and envision a bright new dawn of opportunities for all its people and not just a few. My brothers and sisters, our dear nation Ghana is bleeding. Ghana's soul is calling for change. Mother Ghana is crying for its true and genuine patriotic citizens to rise up to reset our beloved nation. Ghanaians can take no more of the hardship, the impunity, the state capture, the hypocrisy, the lies, and bad governance that has been inflicted on them over the 2 terms of this outgoing administration. We cannot fail Mother Ghana, and therefore I urge you all to vote for change on December 7th, 2024. We, the members of the National Democratic Congress, have gathered here to express our utmost belief in democratic governance and to proclaim right here in Oheneba, also called SIMPA, that the time is up for this administration. The time is up for them to go. They have decimated our democracy beyond recognition. They've destroyed livelihoods and families and pushed millions of our people below the poverty line. Your vote on December 7th will end the tyranny. It will end the cronyism. It will end the corruption. It will end the hardship. It will also pave the way for the vision, experience, and trustworthiness. And I, John Dramani Mahama, is going to restore that to the Flagstaff House. As I've said before, this government must begin writing their handing over notes if they have not started doing so already. This MPP administration has been the biggest political scam that has been pulled on Ghanaians since our independence in 1957. And I'll explain why. They were repackaged with ribbons and sweetly scented with enticing promises. Most Ghanaians will agree that Nana Akufo-Addo is indeed the president Ghana never got. And indeed, I dare say, his much-touted economic whiz-kid, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is also the economic messiah Ghana never got. The NPP government took over from our administration on 7 January 2017. They inherited an energy sector we had stabilized with the fastest mobilization of emergency power of almost 800 megawatts in the history of Ghana. Along with this came a new Energy Sector Levy Act, which we call ESLA, with potential revenues of 3 billion Ghana cedis every year to pay off legacy energy sector debts. They inherited an ongoing Millennium Challenge Compact of $547 million aimed at making Ghana's energy sector the most efficient in Africa. This family, ruling family, quarreled over the shares in the PDS company and led to the US pulling back $190 million, which was meant for the most critical component of the compact, and that is private sector participation and improvement in collections at the distribution end of the electricity value chain. They inherited more than $450 million of the IMF extended credit facility initiated by my administration. Most of our state-owned enterprises were breaking even or making a profit. We handed that to them. They inherited a cocoa production of more than 960,000 metric tons of cocoa, with a cocoa board that was making profit and owed only 1.5 billion cedis to the central bank in cocoa bills. We handed over to them 2 new oil-producing wells, the 10-field and the ENI Sankofa, which increased Ghana's oil production by more than 100,000 barrels per day, with additional gas of more than 200 million standard cubic feet per day. And this increased Ghana's oil revenues from petroleum by more than $500 million every year. They took over from our administration a stabilization fund in which we had accrued $277 million, a Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund with seed money of $270 million, a sinking fund account at the Bank of Ghana with a balance of over $200 million. They inherited a budget that ran a deficit of 6.1% with zero borrowing from the central bank, the Bank of Ghana, zero borrowing. They inherited a stable currency that traded at about 4 cedis to $1. Inflation was at 15.4%. Unemployment was at 8.4%. And when we handed over the administration of this country to the Oheneba Boamah government, Ghana's debt as a percentage of our GDP was 56%. As a result of fiscal consolidation, we handed over an economy that was set to grow above 8%, as predicted by the World Bank and IMF and all the credit rating agencies. Private businesses enjoyed an enabling environment to thrive, and foreign investors were queuing to make investments in our economy. The NPP government also took off with a stabilized economy and significant buffers with enormous domestic and internal goodwill. Indeed, this has been the most favored government in our history. But alas, the Ghanaian people's favor, their goodwill, has been repaid with only pain and anguish. This government has received more revenue than all governments combined in the history of Ghana. And as the saying goes, to whom much is given, much is expected. Unfortunately, the people of Ghana have been severely shortchanged by this administration. The scorecard of this administration has been abysmal. An inflation rate that went as high as 54% and is currently still hovering above 20%. Ghana today has one of the highest food inflation rates in the whole of Africa. We have a currency that has depreciated to almost 16 cedis to $1, and we've borrowed more than 70 billion from the central bank, the Bank of Ghana, causing a serious upsurge in inflation and causing the Bank of Ghana to go broke. We have a debt to GDP that went as high as 104%. And today, the unemployment rate is almost 15%, from just above 8% in 2016. Worst of all, Ghana has defaulted on her debt payments and has therefore engaged in a debt exchange that has resulted in painful haircuts, and they have deferred the tenure of bonds at lower interest rates. This has caused a lot of trouble for investors, including pensioners. Cocoa production, which has been one of the mainstay of our economy, has plummeted, and for the first time in the history of our country, the Cocoa Board annual syndication, which was sought after by all international banks, today it has no takers. Nobody is willing to lend Cocoa Board any money. Production volumes are down, and Cocoa Board is seeking to delay delivery of almost 350,000 tons of cocoa to next year. It means that your government, NDC, is the one going to have to find the 350,000 to fill that hole, to pay the debt. Cocoa Board has also defaulted on almost 13 billion Ghana cedis in cocoa bonds. Oil and gas production has declined by 32%, and debt to independent power producers has increased astronomically. Today, the majority of state-owned enterprises are posting massive losses. The COVID pandemic, rather than being an adversity, turned out to be a blessing, with a windfall for this government of almost 25 billion Ghana cedis of inflows, most of which were doled out to companies owned by family and friends. The majority of our citizens are convinced that our country, Ghana, is going in the wrong direction. Faith in our democracy is at its lowest, and many of our youth do not believe that constitutional governance is working for them. Faith in our democratic institutions and the political leadership is at its lowest ebb, and corruption is at its highest, and Ghanaians have become numb to the scandals that are exposed almost every week. And when you have a president who says he does not understand the hullabaloo that is being made about the sale of snitch hotels to a minister in his own government, then clearly he is on a completely different wavelength from the rest of us in this country. My brothers and sisters, this is a president who just doesn't get it. Many domestic and foreign investors have adopted a wait-and-see attitude. Many of them I have met have told me that they are waiting for a signal from the Ghanaian people that the political and business environment is going to change for the better, that we're going to effect a change of course so that we can provide a reasonable environment for them to put in their investments. Ladies and gentlemen, the Holy Book in Matthew 25, 14, 30 tells one of the parables of Jesus Christ. And this is the parable of the talents. This parable teaches us to invest whatever is put in our care wisely for the benefit of our master. The master in this case is the people of Ghana. This administration is just like the last of the servants who buried his talents that was given to him by his master, and when his master came, he returned the 1 talent to him. But in this case of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia and their cabal, they did not bury the 1 talent and give us back our 1 talent when we returned. They gambled with the talents that we gave them, and they landed the people of Ghana in a huge debt. We cannot continue on this path. Lessons must be learned from the experience of these last almost 8 years. A vote for the MPP will be an expression of satisfaction with the impunity of the last 8 years. A vote for the MPP is a vote for a 3rd term for Nana Akufo-Addo. A vote for the MPP in this election is a vote to escape accountability. It is a vote to allow officials who have stolen and raped this country's resources to escape accountability and go laughing all the way to their bank accounts. Ladies and gentlemen, their flag bearer and his running mate, who have been prominent actors in this horror movie Ghanaians have watched these last almost 8 years, Ezu, you know horror movies, don't you? Their flag bearer and his running mate, who have been prominent actors in the horror movies Ghanaians have watched these almost last 8 years. These people cannot be the ones to exact accountability from the government of which they have been an integral part. We are at a critical juncture in our democratic history. Choices we make in elections come with consequences. We cannot afford to fail this time. A restive youthful population does not have the luxury of trial and error. They do not have the luxury of trying a driver's mate who has learnt his driving skills from the same driver who crashed the Ghanaian vehicle of state. Our nation needs a reset. Our democracy needs a reset. Our economy needs a reset. Our governance needs a reset. And our attitudes need a reset. We need a government that will galvanize the efforts of all Ghanaians, irrespective of ethnicity, religion, or party affiliation. We need a government that will allow all businesses to thrive, whether owned by domestic investors or foreign investors, no matter their ethnic, religious, or partisan colors of its owner. We need to make a change that will usher in a government that is responsible and accountable. We need to open up this country for business again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to present to you our manifesto. We need a leadership that will crack the ship when its own appointees go down the wrong track. We need a responsive government that will respect the rights and freedoms of our citizens, including journalists, and address the ongoing decay of state institutions and fight corruption by deploying the Operation Recover All the Loot principle. Operation Recover All the Loot strategy, and that is ORAL. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are presenting to you a manifesto that will help take back your future, take the future of Ghana back into the hands of the Ghanaian people. Ladies and gentlemen, I will at this point give you some highlights of our manifesto, after which my running mate, and by God's grace, the next Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman, a prominent daughter of the Central Region, and other presenters will delve into other areas of the manifesto. Ladies and gentlemen, first is resetting the economy for prosperity. In the first 120 days in office, we will hold a national economic dialogue to draw up a 4-year fiscal consolidation plan. We would rationalize taxes, abolishing, among others, the obnoxious e-levy The COVID levy and the 10% levy on bet winnings. We will review import duties and levies on vehicles and equipment meant for industrial and agricultural purposes. Ladies and gentlemen, we will rationalize port fees and charges and implement emergency measures to stabilize the city and the macroeconomic environment. Ladies and gentlemen, we will use the price stabilization and recovery levy to cushion consumers of petroleum products. We will investigate the MPP's opaque gold for oil deal. We will review the gold purchase program of the Bank of Ghana and will restore the licenses of wrongfully collapsed banks and financial institutions. We will increase indigenous participation in the banking and financial sector. And we will free the statutory funds, the GET Fund, NHIL, Road Fund, to be able to achieve their mandated objectives. Ladies and gentlemen, alleviating the current economic hardships. And one of our first programs is the no fee stress policy. There are many students who are unable to take up their places in tertiary educational institutions because they cannot afford to pay the academic user fees, the academic fees. And so we'll take that stress off them. For the first year, they will not be required to pay fees. And I assure the universities it will not affect their internal generated funds. We're going to give the money to the student's loan. The student loan will pay it to the universities as a grant. It will be paid as a grant, not as a loan. And aside from that, we're going to increase the subvention that goes to our public universities so that we can improve quality and learning in those universities. We will provide free tertiary education for all persons with disability. And we will provide free sanitary pads for girls in school. If you remember, Nana Jane started that policy with a World Bank facility, and they called that loan the PAD loan. Yes, we are proud of the PAD loan. It will allow our young girls who are going through their periods to be neat and hygienic and not to miss school, be able to go to school all year round. We will uncap the National Health Insurance Levy. Currently, there's a cap on the levy, and so a certain portion of the levy goes into the consolidated fund. And so the Health Insurance Authority is not able to pay the health facilities, reimburse them for the services that they provide. We will uncap the health insurance so that all the National Health Insurance Levy will go into the National Health Insurance Fund so that they can pay the hospitals for looking after our people. And of course, this is associated with it. We'll reprioritize the health sector by ensuring timely releases of payment to service providers. We established the Ghana Medical Care Trust, into brackets, somebody calls it Mahama Cares, to support persons with chronic diseases such as kidney failure, cancer, sickle cell, diabetes, hypertension, and other health-related diseases. We'll also introduce the community pharmacy concept, and that will encourage people to go to your local pharmacy and go have your blood pressure taken and your sugar checked, so that if you have a referral hospital upwards, you use your Ghana card, your National Health Insurance card, and you receive treatment. We will expand health infrastructure to restore the automatic employment and timely deployment of health workers. And so we're not going to wait till elections are coming and announce that we've opened the recruitment portal. The recruitment portal will be open and will do continuous employment of health workers, doctors, and nurses. We need a first-class children's hospital in Ghana. The existing children's hospital has outlived this usefulness. And so we're going to construct a state-of-the-art 500-bed specialist children's hospital in Accra. And so children who have sicknesses that cannot be handled in other parts of the country will come to Accra. There will be specialist pediatricians there to give them the care they deserve. Of course, we will expand, we'll construct a state-of-the-art, I've said that one. We'll also construct a fertility center. There are a lot of mothers who cannot have children just because there's something wrong with the reproductive system. It can be corrected, and they can have babies and enjoy the joy of motherhood. But currently, the prices that the private fertility hospitals charge are out of the range of most mothers. And so government will step in. We'll build a fertility center where mothers who want children can come for consultation, and they will be given the treatment so that they also can enjoy the joy of motherhood. I'll go quickly. We'll expand the facilities at the whole teaching hospital in order that it can provide specialist services and also be a quaternary hospital to serve the University of Health and Allied Sciences. In the whole of the OT corridor up to the northeastern part of the country, there's no trauma hospital. And so we'll build a trauma hospital there so that persons who are involved in accidents on the Eastern Corridor Road will have a place where they can be treated properly before they are transferred. We'll establish modern dialysis centers in hospitals in regions that don't have them. Currently, most of Upper West, my own hometown, Bole, and other places, if you have a kidney ailment, the only place you can go for treatment is in Kumasi. And you have to go with your wife, your family, you have to find a place to stay. It is a burden. And so we want to make sure that every region has a modern dialysis center so that we can ease the burden on persons with kidney ailments. We will build modern hospitals in Boko, Yendi, and other underserved areas. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the training. This is the 24-hour economy clock. One job, 3 shifts, 3 people. 1, 3, 3. One job, 3 shifts, 3 people. Obiabe Didi. Ezu. Extraordinary problems require extraordinary solutions for extraordinary results. And so businesses and public organizations will be encouraged to operate 24/7 in 3 shifts of 8 hours each. This will boost production, it will increase employment and provide well-paying jobs. It will transform Ghana into an import substitution and export-led country. It will increase employment opportunities and revenue, and it will enhance access to public services. We will focus on some selected public institutions that have huge customer traffic. For instance, the ports and harbors should be open 24/7. That means we have to employ more workers at the port. We have to employ more customs officers, more Gapoha workers, more forklift operators and all that. We need customs. Customs should work 24/7, 3 shifts, so that at any time your items come, customs at any time of the day is open for business. You can go and process your import things, papers, and take your things out of the port. We must have a passport office that is operating longer than 8 hours, so that people who need passports and other such documentation can have access to it. We must have a DVLA that is working more shifts than 1 shift, so that more people can get their licenses processed in a shorter time than the current waiting time. In the private sector, the sectors that we are looking to promote and encourage to run 24/7 and 3 shifts are first the agro-processing sector. That is those who will process our cassava into cassava starch, cassava flour, gari, and all that. There's a huge market in Africa for all these products and in other parts of the world. Manufacturing, that is industry. Manufacturing, that is industry. And so the textiles industry, the fruits juice making industry, all the industries, the iron and steel industry will be encouraged to run 24/7. The pharmaceutical sector, we want Ghana to be the pharmaceutical hub of the whole of Africa, so that we'll produce medicines here and export them to all other African countries. Construction sites, we want our construction companies to work 24/7, all hours round, so that they can deliver our infrastructure faster than they currently do. Financial services, the same. Sanitation and garbage collection. It is better to collect garbage, boiler, in the night, rather than collect the boiler and be competing with cars in the daytime when we have rush hour traffic. Extractive industries, the mines, mining bauxite, mining gold, mining manganese, lithium, they must work 24/7, 3 shifts every day. Hospitality industry, our restaurants, our discotheques, our nightclubs, our hotels, 24/7, 24 hours a day. Retail centers, all the malls, there's no reason why you should start. People can come in the nighttime and buy items, so they should work longer than 8 hours. Transportation services, there should be buses running 24 hours, so that people who have to go to their jobs can be able to get a bus to go to their jobs. Security services, we need safety and security to be able to implement the 24-hour economy. And so we need more police officers, we need more soldiers, we need more prison officers, more fire service officers, more customs, more immigration. Now the support package for 24-hour businesses is to stimulate demand for 24-hour economy goods and services. And this will be supported by strategic investments in infrastructure, in security, in energy. We'll have public and private security architecture, cheaper and reliable electricity, that is the time of use tariff. So in the night when we're not using much of the power and it's going to waste, we can supply it to the 24-hour economy enclave at cheaper rates than we currently charge. Tax incentives to companies that will sign up for the 24-hour economy. They'll be given tax incentives, so they pay lower taxes, so they can reinvest what they have saved back into increasing their production. We'll give them support from the Ghana Exim Bank, especially for the agro-processing and manufacturing sectors that are going to be exporting. We'll support SMEs operating capacity with catalytic investments to upgrade and generate jobs. The Accelerated Export Development Council, I'm going to chair that personally. We want to accelerate our exports. We're going to register more Ghanaian goods on the African Continental Free Trade Area so that we can export to other countries. and I'm going to chair that personally. And we'll meet every month and appraise where we are at in terms of encouraging Ghanaian businesses to export. This Accelerated Export Development Council will promote exports under the 24-hour economy. My running mate will talk more about this, so I will jump it. Women's Development Bank. It will give low interest loans, particularly to women's businesses. She'll talk more about it, so let's jump it. The National Apprenticeship Program will be for self-employment, and it will also help people who have come out of school at different levels who want to go and learn a skill, but their parents are unable to pay the masters for them to go and learn. The government, through the district assemblies, is going to register all master craftsmen. We're going to pay them and assign these young people to them so that they can learn a skill to go into the world of work. Next slide. Free technical and vocational training for young people. The time for grammar school education has passed. The time where you were judged by the long grammar you could speak has passed. We now need more technicians, more mechanics, more plumbers, more artisans. And so we're going to shift our focus from grammar school and build more technical and vocational educational schools so that our children who leave free SHS, who leave JHS and unable to continue, can go and train as apprentices and be graduated with certificates. We'll provide them with startup capital to be able to start their own small businesses. We'll also use NVTI to train and test them so that they can get their certificates to enter the world of work. We have what we call the Jumara program. And this is the entrepreneurial program. Nobody says you must finish school and become an employee. You can finish school and become an employer and employ employees. And so every year we want to target 10,000 youth entrepreneurs to set up their own businesses. We'll mentor them, we'll monitor them, we'll supervise them until they're able to stand on their own feet, and they will employ their colleagues instead of becoming employees. Business development. We exempt new and small businesses, that is small and medium enterprises, new and small businesses that are registered, and personal income tax of those businesses from the first 2 years after they are incorporated. So if you're a young person under this program and you set up your business, for 2 years you won't pay any corporate income tax. You start paying after 2 years. Because we want the business to be able to get a grounding and be able to stand on its feet before they start paying taxes. We'll review the Customs Amendment Act to scrap the ban on salvage vehicles. Not everybody can afford a new vehicle. And so their vehicles in good shape, they must have had a small accident. We have young people in the magazine who are repairing these vehicles. If we say we're banning these vehicles, we're throwing those young people out of work. And so we'll allow salvage vehicles to come in so that other people can buy vehicles at affordable rates. And if we do this, it will save the local automotive industry. And so the Swami magazine, the Kokompes, the Aboso kinds will continue to do their business even as we set up an automobile industry. We'll support the redevelopment of Kokompe, Aboso Kai, and all those magazines so that it creates a more congenial environment for people to come and do business. We'll implement a Made in Ghana agenda for the production and consumption of Made in Ghana goods. Government is going to use its budget to buy Made in Ghana goods first. It's only when you can't get that good that you'll be allowed to buy a foreign product. If the good is produced in Ghana, you must buy it first. And so we're going to use government's financial muscle to encourage local production of goods and services. If you are a foreign industry and you want us to buy your goods, come and establish the factory here and produce what you want us to buy here. We will launch an Export Ghana policy, and it is the Accelerated Economic Development Council that is going to oversee this Export Ghana policy. And we're going to use that policy to facilitate exports under African Continental Free Trade Area and also the ECOWAS trade liberalization. We will enhance the role of the Ghana Exim Bank in financing non-traditional exports. We will readjust their focus so that they are putting money into industries that are exporting products, so that we can give them capital at a cheaper rate. Money yo, am I right? A money yo pension scheme. We'll introduce a money yo pension scheme so that persons in the informal sector who want to put something aside for their pension and their retirement can put 10 Ghana cedis a day, 5 Ghana cedis a week, 50 Ghana cedis a week. They will keep paying it so that when it gets to their turn for retirement, they have some money that they can rely on. We'll also, this pension scheme will cover commercial drivers and my dear Okada riders. They will also be part of the pension scheme. It will also be extended to small-scale miners, farmers, fishermen, traders, and market women. People who receive cash on daily basis. You put a little aside. If it's every week, you go and pay it into the money. Or you can use your mobile phone and pay, and your account will keep being updated. So after 15 years, that money has been invested. When you are retiring, you have your pot of money so that you can be getting a pension every month in your old age. Digital jobs initiatives. We'll partner the private sector to invest $3 billion to leverage ICT for jobs. And this will be through the 1 million coders program. We announced this in 2020, and we didn't win power, so we couldn't implement it. Somebody lifted it from our 2020 manifesto and quickly put it out as if it was theirs. I said, go and look in 2020, you see that we had already put it there. But we will continue with our 1 million coders program to train 1 million people in coding and web development, software engineering, and others. We will stimulate demand for made in Ghana software. We are exporting a lot of hard currency. When we import goods, we know that we are sending foreign currency out to buy those goods. When we import food, we are sending money out to buy that food. But when we send money out to pay copyright to Microsoft, to Oracle, to all the people whose software we're running on our banks and all our online portals and all that, nobody sees it. And so if we are going to train 1 million coders to do software, web hosting and all that, we must create a demand for it locally. And so government will first see if we have the available software in-house before we allow anybody to buy software from outside. And so we exchange payments for subscriptions to overseas vendors. We establish regional digital centers for business process outsourcing. Business process outsourcing is when you sit in Ghana and you get a contract from abroad to do a certain job. You're able to do it from here without being physically there. And so you can process parking tickets in New York. You can process various items that they want. At times when they have gone to bed, they need somebody to be taking calls and responding to clients. They sometimes outsource it to other countries. Ghana is a good center to take advantage of this because our English is even clearer than many of the other countries that are doing the business process outsourcing. So people want Ghana to expand. Invest 50 million in a fintech growth fund to promote digital entrepreneurs. I announced this long ago when I met the fintech entrepreneurs. Set up zonal ICT parks to make Ghana the innovation, artificial intelligence, and cyber security center of Africa. Redevelop the Dawa ICT Park into a world center of excellence. Ghana's first flagship program for jobs. We'll work with the private sector to make Ghana the hub for pharmaceutical production. I've announced this already. We want our pharmaceutical industry to export drugs to all other African countries and other places. We'll develop an integrated aluminum industry for industrialization. We'll invest in the production of plastics, fertilizers, and other synthetic materials here. Expansion of the automotive and vehicle assembly sector. With this one, government is going, if we budget to buy vehicles, we're going to buy vehicles that have been assembled in Ghana. We will not buy vehicles from outside and bring them in. So all those who have set up automotive assembly plants here, if government needs vehicles every year, we're going to buy those vehicles from them, not from outside. We will promote light industrial manufacture, especially in the textiles and electronic products. Today I was speaking with an investor, and he was talking about the textiles industry. And I told him, I said, unfortunately, we're not producing our own cotton. And he said, you don't need to produce your own cotton now. You can import cotton from Burkina Faso. You can import cotton from Benin and start your textile industry. And when you have started it, you can backward integrate it in your own cotton production. Brilliant idea. So I told him, on 8th January, I'll be in the office. Come and see me, and let's start working. And so we'll revamp the textile and cotton and allied industries. We'll set up agro-industrial zones in all regions. I've said this already. We'll get a site in every region. Government will clear the site. We'll develop the site. We'll bring water, electricity to the site. And any private sector developer who wants to produce to buy agro products and process can come and get a land within the agro processing zone and start his business, so that he doesn't have to go and quarrel with families. They'll sell him land. Another person will come. No, the land was not for this one. Government will secure the land so that they can easily set up their businesses. Establish mini processing plants for cassava, tomatoes, fruits. Set up cashew processing factories in Bono East and Ahafo, where we have the most cashew. Set up ginger processing plants in OT. We look at the comparative advantage of every region, and we will set up the plants that suit that region. We're not doing one district, one factory. We are looking at every region's comparative advantage, and we'll put in the processing capacity that will make use of their products. Facilitate the construction of 20 medium-scale animal feed processing plants and revamp the collapsing poultry industry. One of the major inputs that goes into poultry and livestock is the feed. It is very expensive because we import a lot of it currently. If we're producing more of it, we can get a lower price for the feed. And so we'll set up 20 feed processing plants so that they can process and produce feed locally. One area is the Bono area. I know the Doma area, there's a lot of poultry. We'll give poultry cages to all the young people who want to do poultry. Exim Bank will give them assistance to produce the chicken. We'll produce cold storage facilities and processing facilities so they can process their chicken and keep it in the cold storage facilities ready for the market. Establish, it's gone. Okay. Agriculture for jobs. We want to make agriculture more attractive through modernization to ensure food security and job creation. We reduce food inflation to lower the high cost of living through our Agriculture for Economic Transformation program. We'll roll out a Feed Ghana program, which is to boost food production, guarantee food security, and supply raw materials to industry. And this is my favorite project, to establish farmers' service centers in all agricultural production areas. And in each farmer service center, there will be tractors, there will be harvesters, there will be plows, there will be harrows, there will be planters, everything you need to do modernized farming. And our farmers are going to be registered within the catchment area of the farmer service center. And at the beginning of the year, you go to your farmer the planting season, you go to your farmer service center, they'll provide you with the services, give you the fertilizer, give you the improved seeds, plow for you, plant for you. And when you harvest and you sell your crops, you come and pay the cost of the inputs that they gave you. We'll create farm banks with agricultural zones to ease access to land and irrigation facilities for agricultural purposes and encourage young people to go into farming. We need to bring more of our land into irrigation because you know what happened this year. There was a drought in the north and parts of Bono region. For almost 8 weeks, the rain didn't fall, and so people have lost their crops. And so we'll go more for irrigation, even if small scale, boreholes. We have the Volta River, all along the banks of the Volta River, we can develop irrigation facilities. Promoting good governance and combating corruption. Remarkably reduce the size of government to 60 ministers. No more than 60 ministers. And so there will be other things for other people to do. We all can be ministers. I know when I say 60 ministers, I say, Abba, there are people aiming to become ministers, but we all can be ministers. So we'll choose 60 ministers, but others would have other assignments that they can do. Address the benefit disparities between Article 71 holders. I've said this already. We have 2 public servants, Article 71, and then the others who are under the fair wages. And so we want to bridge the disparity between them so that all of us come under an independent emoluments committee, and our salaries and emoluments are determined from the smallest watchman to the president. We will determine our salaries and wages. A ruthless war against corruption. Operation Recover All the Loot, oral. Is to prohibit political appointees and politically exposed persons, not only political appointees and politically exposed persons, and all serving public officials from purchasing state assets. So it's not only me who cannot buy a state asset, my wife Lodina cannot buy a state asset, my son Sharaf or Shahid or Farida cannot buy a state asset because they are politically exposed persons. Reopen investigations into major unresolved cases, including the Ayawasu West Wagombai election violence, the 2020 election killings, the unresolved murder of Ahmed Swale and Silas Wulonchami. There are all these cases that occurred under this administration. They refused to investigate them. Even where they've investigated, they've refused to implement the report. They've not paid any compensation to the persons who are affected. We're going to look at all that and we'll deal with it. Dedicate equitable attention to all levels of education. Improve free SHS. Improve the quality of food for our children. Cancel the double track so that all our children can go to school at the same time. We're going to provide dedicated and sustainable source of funding for free SHS. The problem with the free SHS is it has no dedicated funding. And so it's subject to the hazards of the budget. And often the consolidated fund does not release funds. And so children go hungry because the funds have not arrived. Decentralize the procurement of food for SHSs to boost local economies. The feeding grant will go to the schools, to the headmasters and the bezzers. And they will go to the local market and buy the beans, the granules, the rice, the cassava dough, the agbelima, the meat from the local market, so that the town in which the school is located can also benefit from that. It will also allow the headmasters to provide more nutritious foods than the current system. I said this already, implement a no academic fees policy for level 100 students, no fee stress policy. We'll use 5G and low Earth orbit systems to improve the quality of education across the country by extending course tutorials to students everywhere. We have good masters in different schools. And so for us, perhaps the best mathematics master is in Wesley Girls. The best French teacher is in Ghana Secondary School. The best geography teacher is in GSTS. Ghana Education Service will select these teachers and they will teach, they will be filmed teaching the course online. They will teach online. And we'll upload this course content on YouTube. And so you can go on YouTube and download what you want. If it's mathematics, you download it. If it's geography, you download it. But at the same time, it will be available on demand. And because we're going to put Starlink internet satellite on every secondary school, the teachers can use the Starlink to show the children the demonstration by these teachers. And so you can be in Bunkurugu Secondary School. The best maths master in Wesley Girls will be teaching you because you'll be able to download his course material. That's the Basintali boy. We'll provide free tertiary education. I've said that already. We'll provide continuing students with financial assistance. We're going to reintroduce what we had started, which is the Student Loan Fund Trust Fund Plus. It's the Student Loan Plus. And so it's an enhanced student loan. You get more money from the Student Loan Plus, and you only start paying when you get employment, when you leave school. Implement a bed for all. We have a bed for all program. Our tertiary institutions have huge lands that are not utilized. Normally when we want to build a university, we take a huge piece of land, and after many years, part of the land is still lying fallow, and even people are encroaching on the lands. And so we're going to sit with the universities and carve out a part of their land. And we're going to get the private sector. We'll do a design of hostels. If you're interested in investing your money in the hostel, you will build the hostel, we'll regulate the charges, and you will pay for the cost of it over a period of time, and you can make your profit. So that more of our children can have accommodation on campus. That is the Bed for All program. The hostels will be built by the private sector. They will build it, they will charge the fees, but we'll sit with them and regulate the fees so that they are not too exorbitant. What else? Legislation to streamline and regulate the award of government scholarships. Government scholarships have been fraught with a lot of, let me say, kalabule. We want to streamline it, and as I've said, persons with conflict of interest would not be allowed to apply for scholarships. I would not apply for a scholarship for my children. None of my ministers will do it. Any political appointee must not apply for scholarships. You must pay for yourself. Leave the scholarships for the children of the underprivileged. Those who cannot afford it are the ones who must get the scholarships. And we're going to do that. We'll abolish teacher licensure exams. We'll abolish teacher licensure exams and integrate it into the licensing process in their final year exam. We'll institute the Teacher Dabre project. And what this means is that any new school we are building must be accompanied by accommodation for teachers. We're not going to build classroom blocks anymore without teacher accommodation. Every new classroom block, every school must have teacher accommodation. And we'll also accelerate providing accommodation by the existing schools that do not have them. And that will be the Teacher Dabre. It means where teacher will sleep program. In consultation with the stakeholders, we would push ahead with the implementation. This has been on the drawing board for a long time. That is 20% basic salary, special allowance for teachers and health workers who accept postings to rural areas. Most of our teachers and health workers don't want to go to rural areas. Everybody wants to serve in the city. And so we're going to map out what we define as rural areas. If you accept posting to go there, you get 20% of your basic salary as an incentive, as an allowance to teach in the rural area. Expand infrastructure to ensure prompt employment of nurses and teachers. And so that is also part of it. Assist teachers to own their own vehicles of their choice by offering flexible duty payment arrangements and employer guarantees in partnership with teacher unions and the banking sector. We will encourage teachers to take loans to own their own cars, teachers and other public sector workers. And so your bank will pay for the car, we will deduct it from your salary and pay straight to the bank. And what we'll do is, we will not waive the duty on the vehicle. What we'll do is, will allow you to pay the duty in small installments until you finish paying the duty, so that the car is yours. You'll be using the car while paying bit by bit by bit. I didn't say 1 cedi, 2 cedis. That would take 1,000 years to pay. But it will be a percentage of your salary that will go towards paying off the cost of the car and the installment payments of the duties. This is going to be the age of the railways. We have paid lip service to building railways for a long time, and this time we want to make a move on it. It's going to be done by build, operate, and transfer. Because we've been shut out of the international credit market, there's no way we can go on the capital market and borrow to build railway lines. We're going to offer an expression of interest, transparent, to companies that are willing to invest in our railways, and they will bring the money, they will build the railway lines, and all the revenue will go towards repaying the railway lines. And so if it takes 25 years to repay, they will control it for 25 years. After 25 years, when they have recouped their money, then we'll sit down with them, and then they will transfer the asset to the government of Ghana. And so the western and eastern lines will be connected to the landlocked countries. And so there will be a line that joins from the western and eastern lines and goes up north to Burkina Faso, so that we can send Burkina Faso containers up to their country, and we can bring down their cotton and their imports down to the ports for export. Construct urban intracity railways and bus rapid transits. The time has come for us to take some of our people off the roads. Many countries are moving in that direction. And so there are light railways that supplement the urban transport system. And so we'll do a feasibility study and see how we can get BOTs to start light transit rail. Promoting responsible mining, ban issuance of new mining leases and activities in forest reserves. We're going to close the forest reserves and get all those Akunta mining and all of them who have desecrated our forest reserves. We are going to march them out of the forest reserves. Some of those trees in the forest reserves are 700, 800,000 years old. And just because you want to take a little gold from there, you go and destroy the whole forest reserve. That is why we're having drought in our country today. That is part of the reason why our cocoa industry is going down, because we're not getting enough rainfall. Because looking for that small gold they will get, they are destroying all the forest reserves and destroying the climate in our country. So those there, get ready, start packing your things. After 7 January, if you are not out of the forest reserve, we are going to come and march you out of the forest reserve. We'll establish mining cooperatives in all mining districts. We'll set up a gold board that will be responsible for buying gold from the small-scale mining sector. The way we have the cocoa board, buying cocoa from the farmers, we'll have a gold board that will buy all the gold from the small-scale miners. It will send it to our own refinery to be refined, and we'll export refined gold and get all the value addition instead of sending the raw bullion out the way we are currently doing. Decentralized regulatory licensing and processes for artisanal miners. That is setting up offices of the Minerals Commission in all mining districts. Implement a blue water initiative to heal and harness the environment. We're going to clean the poisoned waters that have been poisoned by mining so that we can discharge those waters back into our rivers. We're also going to hire the young people in tree growing. And so in the areas where mining has finished, we will level the ground, close all the holes, and we'll have young boys from the community. We'll pay them a stipend every month. We'll give them abobo yas. We'll put polytanks in there so that they can plant trees on the mined out land so that we can reclaim the lands. Implement a tree for life reforestation policy. This is what I just talked about. And so we're going to plant commercial trees like cocoa, palm, and rubber on the lands that have been reclaimed. Implement a blue water initiative. I just talked about it. So these are just tidbits of what you are going to see in the manifesto. My running mate and Vice President of the Republic of Ghana to be Jenana Opoku-Agyeman, and other experts We'll go into more detail in some of the areas that I've touched on.
Prior to entering University of Ghana, I had to work to gather some money because my dad is not able to go to the farm anymore. It's my mom who is able to at least work small to cater for the family. There's no hope of getting any support from them, and I knew that, so I worked as a security guard to gather something small so that at least when I get admission, I'll be able to support myself in a way. As a security guard, I worked at an apartment in Jowlu. Yes, so I met a man there who offered to help me in paying for my school fees. Yeah, so when the admission came, he gave me part of the money. He did his best. But I had to even go to my senior high school to see some of the teachers I am free with, and I spoke with some of them, and they also helped. They gave me some money, and I put it together. I was able to pay for my school fees and then register for the courses. I just picked my bag. I went straight to campus without anything in my pocket. Like, all the money is gone. I've not been able to even buy provisions for myself, like nothing. So I just went, and it was like difficult. It was much difficult living on campus without food, without anything. So the no fee stress is a good policy. So imagine me getting the opportunity to benefit from that policy. I wouldn't have spent all the money I got from working as a security to pay for school fees. So my advice to young people like me who have to work as security people, as maids, as gardeners, before they can come to school, because there's nothing at home, like the family is not what to do. You have to go through a lot of struggles before they can make ends meet. My only advice to these people is that on December 7th, they should look for John Dramani Mahama anywhere he is on the ballot paper. That humble gentleman, that visionary man, to vote for him to come into power January, so that their worries and their woes, their struggles will all come to an end.
I will go through our 120-day social contract. The things we'll do in the first 120 days after we leave Independence Square on 7th January 2025. One, we'll put in place a robust code of conduct and standards for all government officials in line with the principles of ethical leadership, modesty, humility, integrity, and accountability. We will nominate all our cabinet ministers for parliamentary approval within the first 14 days in office. We would have named all our cabinet ministers. We will constitute the leanest and most efficient government in the history of the Fourth Republic in the first 90 days in office. We will hold a national economic dialogue to discuss the true state of the economy and prepare a homegrown fiscal consolidation program to guide the budget. Number 5, we'll commence the drafting of needed legal amendments and preparation for the implementation of the 24-hour economy policy under the office of the President. Number 6, we'll establish an accelerated export development council, which I will personally chair, to promote exports as part of a broader strategy for economic transformation. Number 7, we'll convene a national consultative conference on education with CHAS, NAGRAT, NAT, CCT, NAPS, CETAG, Vice Chancellors Ghana, PRINCOF, TEWU, UTAG, PTAs, students, think tanks, academia, parents, and other stakeholders to build consensus on the improvement of our education sector, including the free SHS. Number 8, We'll scrap the following draconian taxes to alleviate hardship and ease the high cost of doing business in our first 90 days in office. 1. E-levy. 2. COVID levy. 3. Betting tax. 4. Emissions levy. And we'll review taxes and levies on vehicles and equipment imported into the country for industrial and agricultural purposes. 9. We'll introduce the no academic fees stress policy for all first-year students in public tertiary educational institutions, in universities, in technical universities, in polytechnics, colleges of education, nursing training institutions under our no fees stress initiative. We will budget for this, and the money will be given to the Student Loan Trust. It will register all the level 100 students, and it will pay the money to their universities on their behalf so that they don't have to go and pay anything. It will be a grant. It's not be a loan. It will be a grant, so they don't have to pay for it. 10. We'll introduce the following social intervention policies. 1. Free tertiary education for persons with disability. The Ghana Medical Care Trust Fund, which will be a fund that will help the treatment of kidney ailments, hypertension, heart disease, high blood pressure, and all those kinds of things. We'll commence within 120 days the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in basic and secondary schools. 11. We will institute inquiries or forensic audits into the following matters of public interest. 1. MPP's collapse of indigenous Ghanaian banks and financial institutions at a supposed cost of 25 billion Ghana cedis. We'll institute an audit into the illegal printing of money by the Bank of Ghana to finance the corrupt Akufo-Addo Binomial administration. We'll investigate the 58 million National Cathedral scandal. We'll investigate the COVID-19 expenditure scandal. We'll investigate corruption scandals including the PDS, Ejapa, SML, ambulance spare parts, 13th All-African Games, SkyTrain, Kwalugu Dam, mass sets, Galamsey fraud, missing excavators, missing tricycles, illegal and inflated single source contracts, bus scandals, and many others. We institute a government policy banning all political appointees and politically exposed persons from buying any state assets. We allocate seed money within 120 days for the establishment of the Women's Development Bank to support women-owned and women-led businesses. We will launch the following priority job creation programs in the budget. The first is Ejumawura, that is the entrepreneurial project to promote 10,000 young entrepreneurs and mentor them. The 1 million coders program will roll out a Made in Ghana agenda to promote the production and consumption of locally produced goods, particularly through leveraging of government spending power. 15. We review the Customs Amendment Act 2020 to scrap the law banning the importation of salvage vehicles, to rescue the local automotive industry in Swami Magazine, Konkompe, Abose Okai, and all others. 16. We will lay before Parliament a new bill to usher in a new era of government scholarship administration, which will, among others, prohibit political appointees from accessing government scholarships and eliminate political patronage, cronyism, nepotism, and corruption in the world of government scholarships. We will make the scholarships process transparent, publish the names of everybody who is given a scholarship so that the whole country will know who are getting those scholarships. 17. We will aggressively confront the illegal mining menace and place a ban on illegal and new mining activities in forest reserve and roll out our Tree for Life and Blue Water initiative to heal and sustainably harness the environment by turning areas and water bodies degraded by illegal mining into economic and ecological recovery hubs. 18. We'll launch the Black Star Experience. It's our major creative industry and tourism initiative. So the Black Star Experience will be launched. It's an initiative as Ghana's flagship culture, arts, creative industry and tourism brand to transform Ghana into a preferred hub for creative industry and tourism. 19. We'll commence investigative processes to purge state security agencies of all militia and vigilante elements who are causing havoc in our country. 20. We'll reopen investigations into major unresolved criminal cases, including the 2020 election killings, Ayawaso West Wagomba election violence, murder of Ahmed Swale and Silas Wulo Chame. 21. We'll initiate a probe into the man-made disaster caused by the VRA spillage from the Akosombo and Kon dams that displaced and destroyed the livelihoods of thousands of citizens in the Volta region. And we will take immediate steps to provide compensation for the victims, including those in the lower Volta, those in Oti, those in Bono East, those in the Savannah regions, and other areas that were affected by the flooding. We'll carry out a shake-up of all loss-making SOEs and realign them to break even and transition into profit-making. This is our social contract with the people. A lot of people ask me, you're going to find an economy in a mess. How are you going to handle all this? We're going to realign our expenditure. We're going to cut out waste. We'll realign the budget so that we can create more fiscal space in order to finance these projects. We're going to use innovative methods to raise the resources so that we can finance these projects. We're going to prioritize, strictly prioritize, and select the most important projects that will create immediate benefits for the people of Ghana. We're going to put our money where our mouths are. That is what a new NDC government is going to do. We are launching 2 versions of the manifesto today. The manifesto itself and then the Braille version for the visually impaired. We're launching both today. So on behalf of the good people of Ghana, the national executives, the rank and file of the National Democratic Congress, and the youth and women of Ghana, I have the honor and privilege to launch the 2024 Resetting Ghana for Jobs, Accountability and Prosperity Manifesto today. I consider it duly launched.